What's up with it, people? We back with another one, man. We back with another one. We 42 days away from the big fight. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. It's cracking. So check it out, man. I wanted to talk about this lateral movement, man, and how everybody be talking about Terence Crawford gonna have to box and he gonna have to fight on the back foot, and he pretty much gonna have to use lateral movement to get away from Errol Spence all night. And everybody point to the Victor Postol fight to say that that's how Terence Crawford gonna have to fight in fight against Errol Spence. But that's really, honestly, man, I've been doing a lot of studying and watching all Terence Crawford past fights. That's honestly the only fight that he really used lateral movement the whole fight. In that fight, that's the only one. Like all his other fights that he used a little bit of lateral movement was the David Avenesian fight, and I feel like he just did that just because he was trying to prepare himself for Errol Spence. But other than that, you got the Victor Postol fight, you got the David Avenesian fight, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, Terence Crawford, all he does is pivot in a circle and fight at mid-range. So he's not really a lateral movement type of fighter. I looked at all his past fights from 140, a couple fights from 135, and all his fights at 147. And he never really used lateral movement. Terence Crawford is a mid-range fighter. Like, that's how he fights. So everybody been saying that, he's going to have to be this expert boxer on the back foot. And honestly, really the only fight where he was really fighting on the back foot was the David Avenesian fight. Because even in the Victor Postol fight, he wasn't even really fighting on the back foot. He was using lateral movement to find angles, but he wasn't fighting on the back foot. He was moving around the ring, finding angles, but he'll fight in spurts when he want to fight. He wasn't really fighting going backwards. So he'll just move around and then stop and pick his moments to fight in exchange with Victor Postol. He wasn't just sitting there, using his jab and fighting on the back foot. So I just don't think that that's Terence Crawford's style, and I don't know why people get that mixed up, man. And then in the Victor Postol fight, if you really watch that fight, Victor Postol literally did not know how to cut the ring off. I don't even think Terence Crawford was planning on fighting that fight, the whole fight like that. I think he was just, he was doing it to see if it was gonna work and if he was gonna be able to get it off, and it ended up working for him. But just looking at all his past fights, that's not even who he is. So I don't think he planned on fighting that fight like that. I just think that once he realized how easy it was to stay away from Victor Postol, because Victor Postol could not cut the ring off at all. Like, he's literally following this dude the whole fight. He's just following him the whole fight. So I'm like, it was literally easy for Terence Crawford to use lateral movement. And then not only was Victor Postol following Terence Crawford the whole fight, not cutting the ring off, not tracking him and cutting him at an angle, this dude was literally bouncing on his way to Terence Crawford. So if you know anything about sports, when you get somebody in the air, it's easy to to move around them. You know what I mean? It's easy to move around them. Like, if you I'm big on football. Most people say if you can get your defender in the air, it's easy to get around them. And that's pretty much the same thing that Victor Postol was doing in the whole fight. I mean, yeah, he wasn't really jumping, high in the air, but he was bouncing. So it was easy and not cutting the ring off. So it was easy for Terence Crawford to really just use lateral movement and pick his spots when he wanted to fight in exchange with Victor Postol. So I'm not trying to discredit him, you know what I mean, and not say that he didn't fight a good fight, because he did. He found something that worked, and it worked. So, he got that off. But I'm just confused on how everybody is pretty much trying to make it seem like this dude is Floyd Mayweather or something, and he's this expert outboxer, and he can just fight on the back foot and just win fights easily like that. And I just don't see it. Like, I literally watched probably about 15 fights of this dude, and none of them, not even just the fights at welterweight. It's a known thing that everybody say at welterweight he's sitting there fighting. Well, shit, if you watch all his fights in any other weight class he was in at 35 and 40, he was doing the same thing. He was doing more pivoting around the ring, and then every once in a while, like if he's pivoting and he's closer to the corner, he'll kind of use some lateral movement to kind of get in a good spot to find his spot where he want to be in the ring. But he wasn't, whenever he established the spot that he wanted to be in the ring, he literally sat there and started feinting and started finding his positioning to fight at mid-distance. So I'm just confused on where everybody is getting this. Terence Crawford's going to have to, just use all this lateral movement and fight on the back foot to beat Errol Spence. And then, like I said before, the fight that he really was fighting on the back foot and really trying to box going backwards was in the David Alvanesian fight, his last fight. And I feel like that he knew he had to do that to gauge himself for Errol Spence, to prepare himself for Errol Spence. And he was getting caught a lot. Like, he was getting caught a lot going backwards. Like, he was not comfortable going backwards. Once he started wearing David Alvanesian down, right around like the third or fourth round, he started coming forward and doing what he normally do. So, I don't know, man. That's just my thoughts on it, man. I just don't see how. I mean, if y'all know a fight that I haven't watched where he's this expert outboxer and he can box on the back foot and just be elusive and be slipping and countering and doing all that, let me know, man. Let me know in the comments. But like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. I'm gone.